What's up, guys? Good afternoon, or morning, or evening, depending on where you're watching from. But welcome to Phil's Corner. Still not quite in the corner. It's coming, as I've been promising for a while. But nonetheless, we are doing the hot wall today. We are looking at many of the latest shirt releases. Hello, John Carl. Welcome, my friend. And we're ranking all the shirts of 2022 in a giant tier list, which I will show you now. As you can see here, we've got we've got the hot wall in all its glory. From left to right, we've got the not so hot shirts in the Ice Cube tier. These are the shirts which I actually wouldn't recommend. There's nothing I really like about them, or maybe it's just what I would consider a failed idea. The second tier, or third tier I should say, sorry, the candle tier, these are shirts with potential, but they just haven't quite reached it, or maybe it's just not to my taste. But you know, there's a few reasonable shirts, but these are the kind of, you know, average to slightly above average. The Flames tier, though, that's when you get something better. These are shirts I like. The kind of things I'd like to pick up maybe in the end of season sales, or certainly, shirts that I think have something about them. But the elusive tier is the Volcano tier. This is the very top of the pile, the cream of the crop. You can see here, not many shirts have got into here so far. And this list is getting busier and busier by the week. So it's really good stuff. As we start, a bit of housekeeping. Go and check out my new YouTube Shorts video. I just posted it a few minutes ago. That's looking at the Liverpool leak, which I shared on Twitter. But yeah, watch that, and if you like it, give it a like, and you can support that new kind of new area. I'm doing some YouTube Shorts videos just to complement the other stuff. And they've been going pretty well, so I think I'll continue doing those. But go and check that out on the channel. And of course, as you should know by now, you can subscribe to Phil's Corner. We're nearly at 3K subscribers, so if you've been watching for a while or you're just new here this afternoon, join the family. Hit subscribe. You'll know when I'm going live, and there's going to be big changes to the channel. When I get back in my studio, I'm going to be starting some new series and bringing back the old classic Phil's Corner videos. So subscribe, you'll know first when all the good stuff's happening. And finally, I've got another scene to show you. Let's talk about my Patreon. Had another new member this week. Shout out to Andy, who's joined. Yeah, but guys, this is this is for those who want to go that extra step. And I understand it's not always possible for many people, but if you are able, or you would like to support me in a little bit more of a way, you can do that through Patreon. And you get stuff. You get a shirt, you get a magazine. There's a great community with all the sort of good benefits that brings. So that's the Patreon. Details are in the description. And John Carl, thank you for mentioning John Carl Behind the Chevrons. The latest episode has just gone live. I haven't shared it yet on Twitter, so it's kind of gone under the radar. But as John Carl mentioned, it's with hashtag United. So check out, if you go to Hummel, just search Hummel or Behind the Chevrons, and I'll share it on Twitter as well soon. But yeah, really enjoyed meeting hashtag Seb, who I had a chat with. He was great. And we talked about kits, things like, I asked him why hashtags kits blue and yellow. And we even talked about how hashtag nearly had claret and blue, or how that potentially could have come about for their kits. But yeah, there's some really fun stuff in the video. And of course, you can also check out the other Behind the Chevrons videos. And there's more to come as well. So really, really proud of those. And yeah, you guys will like them. Right. Enough talk. Get to the hot wall itself. And of course, to help us, we're using a site called Football Shirt Culture. They actually just had a bit of a revamp, a bit of a rebrand. So that's looking pretty nice. First job is to remember where we got to last time. Now we are closing in on catching up on the latest shirts. I think, yeah, no, we're looking good. So that's page 6. You can see here we've been going just chronologically. So I think we're on this page. I think I'm right in saying we ended on the AC Milan shirt. Is that right? Yes, we did. Now I don't really like that AC Milan shirt. You can see I ranked it in the Ice Cube tier. But let's continue. With America Football Club, America Mineiro. I'm not sure if that's their full name. I have no idea what's going on there. Nonetheless, let's take a look at the shirt. Volt. We've seen a few Volt shirts over the course of the Hot Wall, haven't we? And we've seen a few which, yeah, some of the ideas have been interesting. I've not been wowed by them. They do have a slightly kind of lower end feel to them, but that's to be expected, obviously. Looking at, I'm just trying to gauge if this is the. I'm assuming this is the away here, as the article says. Yep. So very kind of Macron-esque, this thing, to have a kind of embossed crest behind the crest. Macron have done that for quite a few years. This is an interesting collar. It's intriguing to have the black line on here, but unfortunately the things which have plagued previous Volt kits in the past, if I can put it like that, things like the fit of this collar here doesn't look very good at all. And I think it just looks a little bit, honestly, a bit rough around the edges. I'm not sure about the placement here, or the kind of, if that's the team name, that's interesting, but yeah, I'm not keen on that. Also, the two different greens, it could work, but I feel like you need a bit more of the greens. You've got a slightly yellower, a more yellow shade there, and the darker green. I'm not sure about that combo. Yeah, so the collar's quite a fun idea. This is very Macron for me, but yeah, I think it has to get in the Ice Cube tier. It's definitely nothing I would recommend, particularly, despite, as I say, fair play to them for trying something different with that collar there. That is quite interesting. But we need more than just interesting to get into the higher tiers. We need something good. And I think this is probably on the higher end of the Ice Cube tier, if I can put it like that. Generally, and many people will know this if you've watched previous episodes, if stuff is on the kind of one end of a tier, I'm sort of saying that's a bit better than the stuff on the other end. So, for example, stuff on the right side of the Ice Cube tier, I'd say is generally better than stuff on the left side. But yeah, we'll stick it there. It's not quite enough to get into the candle tier or higher. And I'm not sure, I assume this is the goalkeeper shirt. Yeah, there's two goalkeeper shirts. So we won't rank the goalkeeper shirts. We're kind of staying away from them in terms of the list. Tenerife. Let's go over to Spain. Now, this is a very interesting shirt. Of course, we're looking at some sort of anniversary. Is it centenary shirt? Yeah, you can tell they've thrown all the trimmings at this one. Also, I've just noticed my comments aren't showing on the second screen, so I'm just going to try and solve that, guys. 1 second. Here we go. Hello, guys. Sorry I missed your comments. As I say, my phone was playing up, which I used my second screen. But Darren says West Ham are massive. Honestly, you're having a good year, Darren, it's fair to say. And also, isn't the New England shirt going to be revealed soon? Well, the New England shirt, assuming you mean the England shirt and not the New England Revolution shirt, which we did actually rank. Where did we put that one? I honestly can't remember where that was on the list. I think it was somewhere on here. We could search for it. But the New England shirt, it will probably be soon. Although I wouldn't say it will be just yet. I think the likelihood is it will be in the summer. I've not got any info on that, but I saw like September or August suggested as a date. Obviously, with the later World Cup, it's kind of, or the Winter World Cup, I should say, it's kind of thrown things all over the place. And Zhao said South American brands can be quite surprising both ways, but lately I've seen a few very well made. Special mention to the Velez 2021 Kiera shirt. It looked like it had really nice material. Nice stuff, Zhao. Yeah, I think it is important, and I'm probably guilty of maybe often lumping in brands and saying, oh, this is a lower end South American brand, they're not well made. That isn't fair to say. There are some good ones. So yeah, absolutely. And good to hear that there's some that have stood out for you. Yeah, nice stuff. Nice stuff. And Baz says, hi for everyone. Hello, Baz. Hello, my friend. Welcome, welcome. John Carson, the Revolution went to Ice Cube. There we go. So it did. It's right there. Thank you, John Carl. Thank you. So, Tenerife, if we just quickly go to these high-res pictures. Obviously, with a shirt like this, the lace collar, it's a bit gimmicky. I'm not the biggest fan of lace collars, but I will say, looking at this shirt, it's really nice. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to wear this in the game, and I think that is important, because obviously we would want to only rank shirts that are all in the game. So as I'm looking at this, when I look at that inside label, I think it's fair to say this doesn't look like a shirt that was worn in game. Cooligan, the manufacturer there. So I was going to rank this one, but I think I'm going to have to, well, let's just quickly look. If we look at Tenerife, I don't know what the club, CD Tenerife, that's what they're called. Apologies. If we try and find their home shirt, or trying to find out who their manufacturer is, interesting, they had Hummel last year. Do they have Hummel this year? Let's look at the shop. They've got an anniversary shirt here. It looks like they are still with Hummel. Although that's one of the worst. Yeah, so they're still with Hummel. So this isn't a match shirt. So we're going to pass over this one. So a bit of a waste of 5 minutes there. But if I was to rank it, I think it actually had, well, despite the relative, I'm not a big lace guy. I do like the look of that crest there. And they've committed to the look. It looks pretty smart. But yeah, we'll move on. We'll move to page 4. So we're catching up, guys. I'm looking forward to the day when we actually catch up with the very latest shirts. Then every week at the Hot Wall, we'll just be discussing the stuff that's just come out. That was always the plan. It's taken us a while, but we are getting there. I mean, we might, if not today, next week, I'm sure we will. And then, of course, it's going to be European release season soon. Loads of good stuff to come. Baz saying, unfortunately, I haven't been keeping up to date with the Hot Wall series. Our kits that are due to be released included. I'm looking forward to the release of the black and gold Arsenal jersey. Yes, Baz, they will be included. So my current plan is to literally keep adding to this list. It will get very crowded. I kind of just want to have a wall of shirts there. I think that'll look quite funny. So the current plan, as I say, is to literally keep adding, and it might get to the point where you can almost barely see a shirt. Maybe that'll be too much. Obviously, I can spend a bit of time and rearrange or make the wall bigger. But in short, I think, what we're end of April. Yeah, I'm hoping by the end of the year, this is going to be an absolutely packed wall. It'll look like an NFT or something like that. But yeah, black and gold Arsenal is going to be popular. And I like the look of it, honestly. Now, we come to Club Bolivar, who play in Bolivia. We've got home, away and third, so plenty to look at. Now, I believe this is one of Puma's stock patterns. I feel like I've seen that before. Don't quote me on it, but if anyone knows, do shout in the chat. Obviously, the other big thing, which you can't ignore, is the Chevrolet sponsor. Still haunting the football shirt world. Of course, long-term sponsor of Manchester United. I mean, it's not the worst sponsor in the world, but it's just the chunkiness, the clunkiness of the logo. It's so big, it dominates every shirt, and they don't tend to change the colour of it. So it is a bit of a blight, really, on many shirts, and it's continuing They're still there. Not with United, but of course in Bolivia. I'm not a big fan of this one. I think, and I'm sure, assuming these are the club colours, that's great. But you know when you see the crest here, which in itself is a very simple crest, a bit too simple for my liking. And that clash of the blues, I talked about the greens before. It's a few too many shades. It feels like I'd almost want that base colour to be the same shade as the crest maybe, or something like that. And then you add in the Chevrolet sponsor and the C sponsors which clash. So I think the home is a nice cube. I'll stick that one down there. I've got the wrong shirt there. I need to figure out if I can increase the size of my clipboard on Google Chrome. But anyway, that's something for me to figure out another time. John Carl says, at least Chevy isn't a betting company. That is true, mate. That is true. And to be fair, I would take Chevrolet over pretty much any bet. Well, yeah, I can't think of a betting company I'd rather have than Chevrolet. So yeah, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. And to be fair, I think on some shirts it would look better than others. I don't think it looks good on this one. In terms of, like, I talked about the fact I think this is a stock pattern. It's not one of the worst ones. I think to be honest, I will stick it right on the edge here. I do think it is one of the better Ice Cube shirts we've seen, if I can put it like that. And yeah, the pattern is fine. It's a little bit generic. I mean, if it is bespoke, obviously that's usually a good thing. But as I say, I feel like I've seen this before. Maybe I haven't. Now, it says we've got the away in third. We don't really have a picture of... Oh, sorry, there's one there. It's not very... yeah, okay. So we'll come to... I don't know if this is the away or third. Now, it's a pattern again which feels generic, although I don't think I've seen this one, but... You know, we'll assume it's from a template, I think. But honestly, I think this one actually lands a little bit better. I think the colour feels a bit more dynamic. Obviously, I mean, it looks like... We don't have a good look at this one, but it looks like almost like the city... Well, I don't know if that was the same as the home, but you see the side panel there. Kind of feels like a city shirt. And it is a bit similar to the lighter blue one, but I do like this one a bit better, honestly. I think the Chevy one fits better here. I'd be happy to put this one just in the canvas here. Again, we're having some problems with copying. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest picture. I'd like to see this a little bit more. But like, you know, looking at the back here, if I go back to this top picture, I think it feels a bit better. Elements on the kit just look a bit better. The Chevy logo there is in a pretty good space, so they're going to put it anywhere. They put it in the right place, and the crest fits better there, I think too. Yeah, I think this is only slightly better, but slightly better than the home. I would definitely take this one over the home, and that's enough to put it in the can tier. I'm not rushing out to buy it, but I also don't hate it, honestly. I'll stick it there. Now, we come to the third. A very interesting colour, this one. Honestly, it doesn't really land for me. I do appreciate it is a very unique colour. I can't tell if it's peach. I think it looks quite kind of peach coloured. And I kind of like, you know, the blue secondary colour, which does match pretty nicely with the crest. I've talked a lot about the crest in these kits. But the colourway, you know, this is an example where the Chevrolet doesn't work quite as well for me. I mean, yeah, the pattern also is kind of needless. I think I'd almost rather it was plain, honestly, or certainly had something a bit better. So, very interesting set of kits. I mean, that's a terrible... I don't know, I was going to say, it looks very pixelated. It's not much better. But, yeah, I think this one is probably also in the Ice Cube tier. I like it a little bit more than the home. Very interesting colour. I can't think of many things with that shade, with that particular shade, as a kit. It's kind of it's not quite peach for me. I mean, it was a little bit. It needs a bit more kind of vibrancy in there, a bit more colour to be a bit peachy. I think that would help. I think honestly, if they lent on that peach theme a little bit more, not too much, because then it would just look orange. But yeah, I think they could have done more with that. But anyway, there's the home. So we'll stick it just above there. So not the best showing from Club Bolivar. Puma, I hate to say it, but we've seen quite a few Puma shirts like that this year. Now, what looks like another anniversary shirt. Atlas FC. Big team out of Mexico, I believe. The first impression was pretty good, but then, guys, I've mentioned it a few times. I am, like, aesthetically, it's a word I cannot say. I don't like names in elements of kits. It really looks good, and I actually think that really takes away from what is quite a smart shirt. You know, you look at this, it's the half and half design. Very nicely done from Charlie. The collar is good. The embossed years, that you can kind of take, I can kind of take or leave that, but I don't mind that. But honestly, those sleeves just kill it for me. I just think it never looks good. Well, I say never. There probably has been one or two good kits over the years, but I really think it takes away. I'd honestly rather they were plain. It's a real shame. Maybe as well, as an idea, if the names were embossed, yes, they'd be less visible, but I think, you know, to match the front there, I think that would actually look better than just sublimated in the shirt. But honestly, without these sleeves, or with better sleeves, I think this one is definitely in the flames tier for me. But with those sleeves, I would genuinely, on that basis, stick it down to the candle tier. So I don't know what you guys think. Maybe, I mean, I am being biased against names on shirts. I just think it, not only is it overdone, but I think it really looks good. I think it really adds to a shirt. It feels, I get it, you know, you want to nod to your fans, maybe your season ticket holders. There's also good reasons for doing it, but I just don't think it looks very good. So unfortunately, we're sticking it in the counter tier. Baz asking about the Volcano tier, saying I noticed the Volcano is very elite currently. Can you recap what's in there? Yes, Baz, absolutely. So from top to bottom, there's not many shirts, but we've got San Diego Loyal. This is a shirt which I was able to see in person recently, and I absolutely love it. The colours are so fresh. It's got that kind of Houston, what's the baseball team? Is it the Astros? I can't think what the baseball team is called. But the old baseball team, or the old baseball tops, which had this kind of sunset theme. So it's got that about it. I love the Rocket League sponsor as well. The crest is amazing. That's just one of my favourite shirts this year. As is the Denmark shirt, the collaboration shirt they did with the fashion brand Velez Sarsfield. Again, another shirt I've been privileged enough to pick up, and that one looks really good in person as well. Honestly, I wish it was the away shirt. It's certainly good enough to be an away shirt. It's a shame. I don't think we're going to see it again, but I would love to see it again. Apologies. But we also had Club Belgrano. This is a really, really fun shirt. The crest, the alternate crest here is great. But also just the colours. You've got this kind of black and very kind of dark, steely grey combo. But I really like that. Made by Araya. The pattern in the body is really interesting too. It's just a really, really characterful shirt, if I could put it like that. We've also got Club Atletico Platense. Another Hummel shirt, and I really like this one. It's got a lot of the things I like, obviously being Hummel, but also that lovely brown band of colour across the middle. White and brown, not to everyone's taste, but I really like the combo. And there's a really nice story with the ink look, and you can see the away almost joined the home as well. So these two shirts I love, the home especially. And finally, in the Volcano tier, New Mexico United. Really good stuff from them, and they've had some great kits in their short history. The sponsor is a lot of fun, really vibrant. But I love the black and yellow combo, and Puma Their latest Ultra Weave construction, I think, looks really good. It really suits the shirt, and any shirt indeed who has Ultra Weave. You can see Oakland Roots, another shirt with the latest Puma tech. But there we go. And Baz, yeah, you mentioned Kay didn't make it controversial. They're just here, so they were close. The funny thing is, Baz, it just wasn't my favourite AOK shirt. You know, I think we've had better ones. The limited edition, special edition shirts I've had, I actually preferred last year's. I think last year's would have got in the Volcano tier for me. And I do like it. The biggest gripe with this one is the map thing. That felt a bit unnecessary. I wasn't a big fan of that. So there we go. That's they were close. They were close, mate. But as you say, I think probably controversial. That's fair to say. Now we continue in the Americas. We're now moving to Argentina with Racing Club. Now, these guys are great because they are an Argentinian club who have very Argentinian shirts, you know, very kind of national team shirts. Typically, their home shirts are, as you can see here, sky blue and white striped shirts. Now, this is very classic. Good to see stripes on the back. Honestly, that immediately is a big tick for me. And then you look at other features. It's largely, I mean, the biggest kind of thing to draw the eye is the collar or the neckline. Now, I don't particularly like this one. You know, the style of it isn't to my personal taste. Apologies as I blow my nose. That's not really to my personal taste, but I do like the look of this detail on the bottom of the shirt, and I can't get a proper look at it, but it looks pretty smart. Honestly, that's a big tick. Again, we like details like this. When you've got a relatively simple shirt, little call outs, whether it's on the bottom of the shirt, the back of the neck, can look really good. I think it's lacking the finishing touches. For example, the cap on the back, if that was a nicer detail, maybe some nice kind of little chunky gold element to match the front, I think I'd like it more. And I'd also prefer, I don't really like that neckline, but I think this has actually got enough to sneak into the Flames tier. Again, it's really important, I think, that the stripes on the back, that adds so much. Yeah, I think I like this one enough to go in the Flames tier. And again, it's not the craziest shirt, it's relatively simple. But I think striped home shirts are difficult, and you don't want to. You know, we've seen some really interesting creative takes. Teams like Inter Milan have had some great home shirts, which I really enjoyed. I think they've got that balance right. Not so much this year's home, but it's certainly anything but safe. But I think it you know, fair play to stick to your guns and create something which is essentially just a striped home shirt. But it's a nice looking striped home shirt. So I'm happy to put that just in the Flames tier. Yeah. Another nice thing, it's a small thing, but the sponsors being consistent, black across the board, that's good as well. So not bad at all from Kappa. It's lacking, as I say, the kind of the second gear or the third gear, or what have you. Now, this is a couple of shirts I'm looking forward to seeing more of, and that is Sportivo Le Coreño. Le Coreño? I don't know how you say that. Le Coreño. Any Paraguayan speakers or Spanish speakers, do they speak Spanish in Paraguay? I don't know. But we'll move on nonetheless to talk about this home shirt. Kyrgios are very, very interesting to me. A brand, I believe they are Paraguayan, and they've really risen in prominence over recent years. And in terms of the designs, really, really packed full of intricate details, packed full of the kind of details which, honestly, a lot of brands miss out on. Lovely little jock tag here, you can see that there. This particular shirt, you got really, that's hilarious. Kind of, I assume, an alternate crest. But, so a bit of a crazy design. Just note the women's shirts or the women's cut. I'm not sure if this is a separate shirt, but it does look like the collar's different. This is something you see a lot. It looks a lot better, honestly, the way the women's shirt has it. Because this is probably my least favourite thing about the shirt here. I really don't like that, the look of that collar. Whereas on the women's shirt, it looks 10 times better. So we'll review the men's shirt. That's a great shirt as well, isn't it? We'll review the men's shirt. So again, don't like the collar. Also, a bit like with words on a shirt, I'm not the biggest fan of this effect on a striped kit. But it does, the overall effect is pretty smart. I really like the sponsor application. That's a great looking sponsor there. I don't know who San Cayetano are, but yeah, it looks good with the yellow halo there. And yeah, the overall aesthetic is pretty smart. I think this one is, I've seen better Curious kits. There's kits I've liked more. And I probably would stick this one just in the candle tier, I think. But, as I say, Curious very much a brand to watch. And I did a video, one of my new YouTube short series, looking at sleeper kits. I think the first one was talking about a Curious kit, so you can go and check that out to see more. Just 30 seconds more about Curious. But yeah, this one honestly is on the higher end of this candle tier. It's pretty smart as an overall kit. But I'm excited now to move to the away shirt. And guys, this I think is a level above. Same club, Sportivo Lucareno. Again, apologies for the pronunciation, but I think this is really, really good. And the reasons I like this shirt, obviously this pattern is dazzling. I like the way it goes all the way over the sleeves. But it's a funny thing, but I really like the kind of distressed look here. The fact that the pattern, yes, it's just going across and it immediately catches the eye. But the fact you've got this kind of, almost like it's, hidden underneath that white there. Almost like, the paint is cracked, or there's kind of it's slowly breaking out from underneath the shirt. I think it's a really nice look. Honestly, that whole kind of, this bottom area of the shirt, if that was just plain white, I think it would be a little bit less impactful. I really like it. I really like, again, the way that pattern's been created. It feels, feels really nice. It's also like, a bit different to the kind of gradients that you get. Got some different opinions here. John Carr saying the way it looks like a tourist t-shirt. Honestly, I rate it. John Carr. But yeah, that's interesting. Baz saying that's very nice. And yeah, I think, again, Curious, they do a pretty good job when it comes to applications. I think this is it. If you look in again here, look at the level of detail in this pattern. Looks really good to me. I think it's really nice. And, I'm not going to get too carried away. I think, for it to be volcano tier, I don't know what this crest is, but it is kind of a bit too much for me. And the neckline, though better than the home shirt, there's nothing about that really. I think like the cuffs and the neckline, something about that could be a bit better for me. But this is definitely in the flames tier for me. I really like this as an overall shirt. It's maybe lacking that final, the kind of quality touches. But as a pattern, as an overall shirt, I think this is one of the more creative takes we've seen across any shirt this year. And I do really like it. So I'm happy to put this one in the flames tier, and probably, to be honest, on the higher kind of, or the mid to high end of the flames tier. Yeah, I'm happy to stick it there, not far behind AIK there. I think it's really smart. I think as an away shirt, it does a lot of things well. And John Carr said we're never going to agree on white shirts. Indeed, yes, it's true. I forgot, John Carr, your vendetta against white shirts. And hey, we got some more with Nacional. Now this home shirt, let's have a look what we've got here. Of course, we're looking at an Umbro shirt here. Really interesting crest application. Not only the look of it, I mean, honestly, that looks great. I really like the way that's been achieved. You can see on some of the close-ups the raised letters. That looks really nice to me. And the little kind of fake pocket, that's kind of novel. I don't love it, but it is a creative look. Now, I'm really high on this shirt, but I must say, when you see like the shade of blue and red there is spot on. I love that. Like, it really pops. That shade of red looks great, and the blue. It's a really nice combo. And then you see the elements on the rest of the shirt. Honestly, I think if they just changed that up and had that blue and that red, the red might be the same, I can't tell, but I think that would be an immediate upgrade. Maybe even change the sponsors too. You can see it here. Again, it's not a very high-res picture, but the blue and the red, honestly, if you change the blue, that kind of navy, change those colours to match the crest, I think this could be in with a shot of the volcano tier, because you look at some of the other details. The embossed trophies on the cuffs, I like that. I'm not like wowed by it, but I like it. This detail could be high quality, I think it's fair to say. But no, in short, and this as well, it's good. Maybe a bit busy, but anyway, long and short is I think this is going to be maybe just in the Flames tier. I really like that crest, guys. The look of it, the application, the way that's been made. Yeah, I just think the colours, honestly, when you look at that crest, I wish they'd like pour over those shades of blue and red onto the rest of the kit. So, John Carl, another white shirt for you, mate. But yeah, it's good though, and I do, again, the cuffs were pretty smart. There's lots to like about this one. I think, you know, for me, it's lacking a few touches to be considered higher. But we'll stick it up here. I do like it. I do like the overall effect. Again, this is a really interesting, the kind of fake colour. I'm not sure what I think about it. I think the more I look at it, I'd probably talk myself out of it. But yeah, pretty good, honestly, as a whole, from Umbro in Uruguay. Now we move to Ajaccio, who are the French team, I believe. Am I right in saying that? Yes. Corsican, in fact, they're from Corsica. Now, looking at this shirt, of course, being Adidas, many Adidas shirts aren't that exciting, largely because you know the base of an Adidas shirt is largely the same for the majority of teams. That already is a bit of it puts most Adidas shirts on the back foot. John Carl said, thanks, it isn't even my birthday. Mate, we've got another white shirt. We've got another one coming up. This is definitely your day. But despite those kind of Adidas elements, I do like the overall look of this one. Yes, it is essentially a Peru shirt, but that's not a bad thing. I'd want to see something a bit more closer, high res, a bit more close up, because you've got what looks like some interesting details, and I want to see if the sash goes on the back, and we can't see that. So yeah, the overall effect, I mean, I would say as well, what I like about this one, which I'd like to see more of, there's a bit of black in the collar there, and I think for this one to have a bit more of an identity, a bit more black would be good. You know, it looks good. It's got the Peru or the River Plate vibes. Actually, would be more of a comment, wouldn't it? Given that it's Adidas. But I think honestly, like maybe, well, you'd want more of the three stripes. But I say that about every Adidas kit. But maybe one of the stripes in black or more kind of black. Maybe framing the sash or adding elements on the kit. So anyway. All this is to say, I think this will have to go in the candle tier. Again, sash shirts are generally pretty strong, but it is lacking enough character. And I do like what looks to be the element of the crest in the middle there. that's pretty good. That's something a bit different, but yeah, overall, it's probably going to be in the counter tier. The higher end of the counter tier, I think. You know, we'll stick it on the top half of this third tier. But I mean, it's kind of typical Adidas, really. I hate to say it, but a lot of the elements there just feel a little bit, you know, the three stripes, and the kind of lack, the construction of it, the paneling on it looks very basic. You know, yeah, lacking those extra touches you'd want to see. But that's saying personally, I collect retro, the new ones, but ones I've purchased within the past year are the Bohemian FC, Newport County, God per se, Blackout, and the Rogerstone FC with the tiny rubber sponsor. Nice, Baz, nice pickups. What I like about all of those shirts is they've all got something about them. Be it the story of Bob Marley with the Bohemian shirt, the Burberry shirt, which of course gained notoriety after the supposed lawsuits. So yeah, some good stuff there for sure, mate. Soccer Aid, we won't actually review this one because it's not a team shirt. I mean, there's not much to say, is there really? It's the Puma stock pattern in the colourway. I do think it's a bit clunky having these three sponsors here. Yeah, they should stick them on the sleeves or something else instead. But yeah, nothing too much to say about this one. And John Cost said Adidas stripes don't go with a sash. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I don't think it lends itself that well. Obviously, with River Plate, I mean, if we were to look at, if we just quickly look at some River Plate shirts, obviously Adidas have been working with them for a number of years. But you can see some are better than others. I think, you know, if we were to look through, yeah, some work better. You know, again, over the days when the three stripes went all the way down the sleeves. But yeah, in general, there's more misses than hits. Really, I think it's fair to say that the three stripes do get in the way often of shirts. You know, it does look pretty clunky there. Doesn't look great. Now, this was a really fun campaign from Sweden. They basically released a limited number of shirts, of their new shirts. This is the Sweden women's team, with a giant tag detailing the tactics of the team. And yeah, that's so. Is it because it's a white jersey, John? Indeed. But this is just a marketing campaign, really. The shirt itself, I believe, won't have the tag in it by a standard. Now, I really like this one, honestly. Adidas, across their women's national team kits this year, there's a lot of replication of templates and patterns, and we'll probably see that as we go through, but this one was one of the better ones. Obviously, Sweden kits are generally pretty good. They've always got a good colour scheme, but I really like the collar. It's very simple, but it looks really good. And this template again, we've seen it on other kits, and it does remind me of one of Nike's templates from a few years ago. But I actually do think it's one of the better, or one of my favourite of the set of women's national team kits that we had. I don't think it's Volcano's here. I do think it is probably missing something. The template, I don't love this, even though it's not one of the worst ones, and it's not been overused. I do like elements like the central crest, and I do really like that collar. So yeah, long and short is, I think this is in the Flames tier, and very much in the Flames tier. I think this is probably on the mid to high end of that. But yeah, I do think, when you compare this collection of women's Euros kits, it's not as strong as something like, say, what Nike did when they had, what year was that? Was it 2020? I can't think when the World Cup was, but that collection of kits was a lot better generally. There needs to be just more diversity in these kits, honestly. And even the better ones, they're not quite top tier, or the very top tier for me. But I did love this campaign. That was a lot of fun. So yeah. It's good. Sweden kits are always good. Velez Sarsfield. These guys are famous for having big V's on their shirts. And I like the look of this one. I'm not the biggest gradient guy, but honestly, I like the overall look. Hard to get a proper look. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's not too bad. Obviously, Kappa used this this kind of neckline on a few kits, but I quite like this one. I think it looks the same as like Fiorentina this year, and it was honestly one of my like. I wouldn't say it was like my favourite, but it was above average for me. I like the look of it, and the Fiorentina shirt that I picked up with that collar, I like it. And I think this is the kind of situation where these guys, they almost always have this V pattern or motif on their kits, and this to me is actually quite a nice way of doing it. Yes, again, gradients, they don't always work, but I kind of like this. And you know the thing I like the most about this kit, guys, and I've just realised this, the fact that on this shirt the colours of this cuff detail match the V in the middle. That's so important. If these details were the same shade, so both kind of dark navy or both lighter blue, it doesn't look nearly as good. But the fact it actually matches that gradient is a really nice touch. Maybe you could even do that on the collar. That would be fun. But this is good. I mean, I'm happy to put this one. Again, not the best quality picture, but I'm happy to put this on probably on the high end of the Flames tier. I do really like it, and I don't know why I focus on these things sometimes, but I really like. You know, you can see it on the under sleeve there as well. Excellent, really, really good. So something, you know, when my first impression of the kit, I thought, oh, that's pretty fun, the gradient idea. But there's some really good attention to detail. So not a million miles away from the Volcanoes here. Really, really good. I think, you know, obviously the sponsor placement is difficult. And I like the fact it's underneath the V, but it is a little bit, I don't know, it's hard. I don't know where, I mean, you probably just had to take it away from the front, wouldn't you, I think. But, yeah, really good. Really good. I'm going to sit that right up there. Shades of Baggio's Brescia jersey. Yes, absolutely. Baz, absolutely. The Kappa, the V, yeah, I like that. And Baz also saying it seems that there's a similar template forthcoming on the collars of all the Adidas shirt new releases. From what I've seen. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to be an area of interest. We're going to see generally more kind of flappy collars. That seems to be the case, as well as some of those designs. You can see here's some more of the women's Euros kits. We'll get to those shortly. Juventude. I'm not sure where these guys play. Let's have a look. Brazilian. Now this sponsor should remind you of Juventus kits from about 20 years ago, or just under 20 years ago. That's the first thing it reminded me of. Let's take a look, because again we talked about with some of the previous shirts. These kind of lower division Brazilian teams have some interesting manufacturers, and these guys have kits made by 1913, and it's in-house. Now the biggest thing here, if we start with the striped shirt, the biggest thing I'm noticing is this kind of ventilation or perforation, almost like a kind of a budget vape in it. It's kind of funny. It adds a lot of texture to the shirt. And to be honest, even though the stripes don't continue on the back, I kind of like that. Yeah, maybe it is a bit knockoff vape in it. But whether it's the sponsored or the sponsorless version, you know, the crest application, nice. You've got a little bit of depth there. And yeah, I think again, because of I like the fact they've got these. It's a silly thing, but if it was just a flat shirt, and it really does look like a budget vape in it. Kind of was it the 2018 vape in it iteration? In fact, on the sleeves, wow. I mean, okay, I think this first it's a knockoff vape in it at this point. That looks like the instructions on a care label. Yeah, maybe it's a bit too on the nose, to be honest. At first, I thought, oh, that's kind of fun. A brand, a smaller brand, and we're kind of taking a bit more of a focus. Apologies there, guys. On on perforation and ventilation, I should say. But yeah, it's a little bit too on the nose, isn't it? You can really see it here. It feels like they've got a Nike shirt, a player issue Nike shirt from 2018, and tried to rip it off. So, and again, this really does look like a washing machine label, like a care label. So I think I was ready to put the home shirt, the green and white shirt, somewhere maybe in can or tier. I think they're a little bit too on the nose. It's a bit too much like a knockoff Nike shirt from 4 years ago. I like the green and white more for what it's worth. I think that one's a bit smarter than the white ones. There you go, Junkar. A bit of white shirt hate for you. But yeah, both in the ice cube tier, I think, unfortunately. The more I saw that of the ventilation pattern, it just does feel a bit too much like a knockoff Nike kit. And you've got to. I mean, also as well, what's that gap between the sponsors there? The placement of that sponsor, yeah. No. I think these are very much in the ice cube tier, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, the crest was pretty good. I like that. I like the look of that. But unfortunately, yeah, it's a double ice cube, and we've all stick that fairly low down there. Ballard FC. Now this one has some very interesting looking features. Starting with the fact that my internet's a bit slow. I hope. Oh yeah, there we go. I was going to say the stream hasn't dropped, I don't think, today, but do shout if anything happens. Now this one immediately grabs my attention for a few reasons. One, we've got Inaria, and I really like Inaria as a brand. They do a lot of good stuff, and they have a real nice quality to their shirts. And they, just from a design perspective, they're doing some good stuff. They're beginning to make waves, picking up a few more teams. Of course, the other theme is this kind of sunset theme. And what I really like about this is that it's clearly in the crest as well. The crest looks great. Love that. We've seen a number of good crests over in America. And these guys play in the USL League 2. So, yep, lower league American club. And then, it's a really nice crest. The colours are good. It's has kind of a nice flat feel to it, but it looks good. And yeah, I like this theme. The mountain thing, honestly, I could take or leave that, but it's got a really good sponsor. And yeah, just the overall effect is smart. So this is nice. I think the shirt construction could be more exciting. This again, I hate to mention Nike. Nike are the only ones who do this, but it feels a little bit like, again, a bit of a nod to Nike kits from 4 years ago. But yeah, overall, I like this one. I do like the colours. Again, the sponsor, the fact that it's a small thing, but the colour matches that sunset well. Yeah, I really like this. I think maybe like some more red or yellow to kind of trim the kit a bit more. I think that would add something. As is though, I think we're going to stick this in the flames tier. I do like the overall aesthetic. The crest is so good. And John Carlson and Ari and Hummel have been really good to early teams in the US. Agreed. I think the only thing I'd say is with Hummel in the US, the quality isn't quite there compared to like the European releases. But that's more of a manufacturing thing than anything else. And the other thing, actually, not to hate on Hummel, but too much, but the gap between the Hummel B and the club crest and some of the kits was way too big. But anyway, I do agree though, John Carl. Overall, from a design perspective, certainly there's some really good stuff. Yeah, so I like this from Ballard FC. Really, really good. Really, really good. Now, we come to a slate of women's national team kits, and we'll probably end with these. As you probably can already tell, we've got quite a lot of reusage of patterns, and this is unfortunately kind of a reminder of the darker days of international kits. So we'll judge them obviously in isolation, but we have to kind of include the context of the fact that this same pattern has been used for multiple away kits. In fact, all these away kits here, Spain, Belgium, Germany and Sweden, all have the same base pattern. And even though it's a pattern I kind of like the aesthetic, unfortunately it's just, if you're going to have that same pattern for multiple kits, it just dilutes all of them. And you know, there's things I like about, you know, I think the central crest, like we had in the home kit, looks good. And it looks like they've you know, it's kind of flipped colours. But yeah, unfortunately, that pattern is, because it's been recycled, and I will use that word, recycled, for multiple top tier nations. You know, I can understand this if you've got relatively smaller nations and they're signing a deal with Adidas, you know, for commercial reasons. But yeah, a real shame, to be honest, because I think, you know, we've seen much, you know, bespoke patterns now are kind of expected. I think they should be expected for higher end nations, and we don't have that here. So the overall kit, I think I had to put this in the Ice Cube tier. I think actually there's more interesting colorways of this same pattern, and the fact that it has been reused for multiple nations, I think it's a real shame, honestly. You know, templates are not necessarily a problem, but you need bespoke features, guys. You need little details. Where's the little details? I mean, maybe they're just not in the promo pictures, but there's nothing on the back. There's nothing in the jock tag area. It's just like a catalog kit, honestly. And yes, you know, this might technically be a bespoke colorway for Sweden, but there's not enough there. So it's a real shame, actually, from Adidas. And I quite like the home kit, even though that was quite simple. But, you know, this away kit is a different story. We come to Northern Ireland. In general, I mean, it's good to see that this hasn't got the same pattern. John Carl saying Adidas have been too lazy for too long. They're more interested in promoting themselves and the teams they supply. Sadly, when you look at a lot of these kits, that's the vibe you get. Now this one, I mean, obviously, you know, in isolation, it has quite a lot going for it, but it is essentially the same as the Wales shirt. Now I do like that Wales shirt, and I'm trying to think, did we rank that one? We did. We actually ranked that one in the Flames tier. In retrospect, though, it's again, where are the details? If you're going to have a shirt this simple and this plain, honestly, I think you should add something to make up for it. Now, this one, I do think, I do like the neckline on this template. You know, it's a simple thing, but I like the look of it. I think, though, and maybe this is actually one in retrospect. No, I think the Wales one, honestly, was better. The fact that you had the green on the crest replicated in the collar. I think this one is less impactful as a color combo. We will still have it, I think, in the candle tier, probably in the lower end of the candle tier, because I do like elements of this template. But yeah, obviously, when you then see something like the fact that it's been used in multiple nations, yeah, you need something to hang your hat on. And this doesn't have it. I do prefer the Wales look as well. But in retrospect, maybe that one needs to be bumped down as well. We'll stick this one in the candle tier. Yeah, I mean, we come to Germany. Now, this I think is a bit like Sweden for me, in a positive sense. And by that I mean the Sweden home shirt. Because we do have some nice elements. You know, you look at the cuffs. This kind of repeating flag thing, I dig it. And you know what I really like? Is that neckline. Again, having the German flag colours. I like the asymmetry of this. I like that it's just on one side. And honestly, the overall effect is pretty good. I think it's a good shirt. Yes, it's simple. Yes, you know, the whole central crest thing has essentially been done for almost all the home shirts. But I think this is, if anything, I actually like this more than the Sweden shirt. And I rated the Sweden shirt. So I think the simplicity is actually a positive here. And I really like the use of the flag details. Yes, I think, you know, it's not going to be in the Volcano tier by any means. I'm trying to see, is there some sort of pattern in the body? I don't think there is. You'd probably want to see something in the body, you know, but maybe just like a shadow shadow pattern or something. But no, I really like this as a kit. It's not bold by any means. It is simple, but I think there's enough in terms of the details to separate it. Had we seen that same pattern used on multiple nations, though, you know, flags on the cuffs, this, you know, you'd get more bored of that. But the away, such a shame to see this same pattern. It is interesting to see this colour combo. You've got kind of a two-tone green. I don't mind that, and to be honest, I like this more than the Sweden one. This shade of green, I do like it when Adidas do that, when Germany do this, I should say. Well, it is an Adidas thing, isn't it? The Adidas, it's very much a kind of Adidas equipment colour, isn't it? From the 90s, this shade of green, which Adidas very much lent on. And you know what? I do actually like this kind of two-tone look. I think this is probably, we'll look at the Belgian one later, but I think this might be my favourite one in this template. But it is ultimately a bit too overdone. So I'd probably stick this one in the candle tier and the higher end of the candle tier because I do like this version of the template. But yeah, guys, I mean, if you weren't bored of this pattern already, you will be by the time the Euros is over. It's a shame. You know, like, what? Even if they just had, I don't know, different, like, I get that you have stock patterns sometimes, but this is Germany. This is a big nation. And I know, you know, the women's team shirts aren't going to sell as much as the men's, but I think you need more bespoke treatment there, honestly. Coming to the Belgian home kit, which is black, which is quite interesting. I'm trying to think, has Belgium done that before? If we just go quickly to Old Football Shirts and check out their kit history. Yeah, so typically the away shirts have been black. Or the goalkeeper shirts. This one looks good. Like, you know, there's some nice elements to this template. The central crest being one of them. And the cuffs. I like that the pattern there is actually kind of a different material, or a different section, I should say. It's not just sublimated, and you can see that in the collar as well. So it's good. I think I actually probably like this almost as much as the Wales kit, to be honest. You know, like the combo to have the yellow there and the red there, it looks good. It looks good, despite its simplicity. I think, though, and I will probably bump that Wales one down as we're talking. Well, no, I'll leave it for now. But I think when we catch up with the latest releases, guys, we'll have a few sessions maybe where we move shirts in retrospect, and we won't do that for too many shirts because I want to keep the essence of this hot wall. But yeah, in short, I think this one, you know, we ranked the Northern Ireland shirt there. I like this one more, and I'll be happy to put it in the gap there. Nice promo shot there on the stairs as well. But coming to the away now, interesting colour, and we talked about the peach shirt before. This also has a kind of more of a gold than a peach, kind of a soft gold. The most interesting thing for me here is the cutout version of the Belgian crest, the kind of alternate version of the Belgian crest. Now, I've not seen that before. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's bold to go for that, and it was clearly part of their rebrand to have a version like this. I mean, I kind of like it. It is pretty different. But, you know, the same thing, you've got this pattern, this version of the shirt, which, or version of an Adidas template, which we've seen a few too many times. Again, for big nations, you do want more bespoke elements, things like details. If they just had some more details, guys, why not have a few, you know, little patches and call-outs like some of the best MLS kits have? And but they're missing on major international team shirts. So I think this one I'll stick in the counter tier because I do like the novelty of that alternate version of the crest. I think it looks pretty good, and it does complement the home. But it's still not top tier. It's still not in my favourite categories. And finishing up today's discussion on Spain, we'll take the home first and then the away. So the home. Obviously, there's not many surprises here. I must say, I don't like this style of neckline particularly, though. I would much rather have what we've seen with something like the Wales kit or even the Northern Ireland one, honestly. This one, also, this confuses me, right? The Spanish FA had a rebrand, but they've still got, and I didn't really like this one. It looks pretty naff to me. But that crest to me looks quite confused. And it's on a dark red base, which isn't anywhere else on the kit. I think this one actually is in the Ice Cube tier. Shades of the Rail Salt Lake kit, which I think we also put. I can't remember if that was in the Ice Cube tier or maybe. Oh no, that one actually we put in the camera tier. I think I much preferred that one, to be honest. The gimmick of the central crest doesn't do enough, and again, I don't love that neckline, and that crest is just confusing to me. So, not good from Spain, and spoilers for the away kit, it's probably also going to be in the Ice Cube tier. So, a poor showing in general from Adidas. I would expect much, much more. And it feels like a step back, honestly. Like, yes, some of the kits look reasonable, but it's just this heavy use of this pattern. It really just devalues every shirt that it's been used on. And this one, don't really like the colourway. I much prefer the German one. It's fine, but I don't think this is a great kind of away colour combo for Spain. I think they've had much better over the years. Just feels a little bit washed out, a little bit, honestly, just a little bit kind of second rate. So this one is also going to go in the Ice Cube tier, capping off a disappointing showing for the Spanish women's team. There we go. So to recap, not the best day at the Hot Wall. We did have some good shirts. The Velez Sarsfield, the Ballard FC. There were some good kits. Don't get me wrong, but actually, I think the story or the thing that I will take away from this is this kind of Adidas slate that we had here. And I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, Spain was reasonable. Germany had something about it as well. Sorry, I said Spain. I should say Sweden's home kit, and Germany as well. Belgium, not bad, but just felt very, very lackluster given the overuse of that pattern. But there were some good ones. We mentioned Ballard FC. That was decent. And, if we look at the Hot Wall, not the best day. We didn't have an entry in the Volcanoes here. But, the Velez one, I'm going to move that a little bit closer because I did really like that one. We'll bump that. We'll bump that to the edge. How's about that? Not quite Volcano tier. But yeah, John Carl, summing it up well, saying you win some, you lose some. And that's true, mate. That is true. But, guys, that will do it for the Hot Wall today. We're nearly caught up. I keep saying that. Maybe we'll never catch up and I'll have to do a few more 2-hour streams. Or 2 or 3 hour streams. But thank you for hanging out. Everyone who's been in chat, or you've just been lurking in the background and watching. But thank you nonetheless. My lighting is terrible when I have my window open in this room. But thank you just for your support. It's been great. Even though the channel hasn't been kind of functioning at its full capacity recently, the support has been really good. And I really appreciate it. Lots more to come. Next week we should be back on the eBay stream and another Hot Wall stream. There'll be a bunch of YouTube Shorts videos. And we are edging ever closer to the full return of Phil's Corner. But until then, look forward to chatting with you guys more. Don't forget to check out the newest videos. I mentioned the YouTube Shorts videos. They're on the channel. I'd love to know what you think, so please watch them and let me know. And don't forget to subscribe, guys. As we finish as well, I will mention I've got a discount code with Fanatics, and that is Phil10. Use the code Phil10 at Fanatics to get 10% off your order. And there's some really, really good Brazilian shirts coming out this year. I'll be showcasing a few more of them on Twitter in the coming days. So there's some really good stuff. But that'll do it for the Hot Wall. Thank you again for your company, for your time. I will speak to you very soon. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Take care.